A strong hold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. COP29 of the UNFCCC concludes with the Baku Climate Unity Pact. COP29 adopted new collective quantified goal on climate finance. UNGA adopts a resolution paving way for negotiations of a treaty on crimes against humanity. Global matchmaking platform for industrial decarbonization launched. UNHCR launched Global Appeal 2025 to address global refugee crisis in 2025. Choosing Our Future, Education for Climate Action report released by World Bank Group. In our first news, the 29th Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change or COP29 has recently wrapped up with the adoption of the Baku Climate Unity Pact. The pact includes new collective quantified goal on climate finance, the Global Goal on Adaptation and Sharm el-Sheikh Mitigation Ambition and Implementation Work Programme. Now, as we move on to the key findings of the pact, let's first dive into the new collective quantified goal on climate finance. It provides a new financial target to support countries in protecting their people and economies from climate disasters. The NCQG also aims to ensure that countries can fully participate in the growing opportunities created by the clean energy transition. Moving on to adaptation, the pact features the Global Goal on Adaptation, which is highlighted by the Baku Adaptation Roadmap. This roadmap is designed to advance adaptation efforts in alignment with the Article 7 of the Paris Agreement. For those unfamiliar, Article 7, Paragraph 1 focuses on establishing the global goal on adaptation of enhancing global adaptive capacity, with the ultimate goal of supporting sustainable development. It emphasizes both incremental and transformational adaptation methods to protect the well-being of people and strengthen global climate resilience, incorporating the UAE framework for global climate resilience. Now, turning to mitigation efforts, the Sharm el-Sheikh Mitigation Ambition and Implementation Work Programme was another significant part of the Baku Pact. This initiative acknowledges that there is no one-size-fits-all approach due to varying national and local circumstances. Therefore, it encourages collaboration between cities, subnational authorities, local communities, and national governments to effectively carry out mitigation measures. In a noteworthy development, discussions are underway to create a digital platform that will streamline the implementation of these actions. In conclusion, the Baku Climate Unity Pact underscores a collective commitment to adopting, financing, and mitigating the impacts of climate change, recognizing that a united effort is essential for a sustainable future.
Moving on to the next news. At COP29, a new collective quantified goal on climate finance or NCQG was adopted. The NCQG set a new finance goal to help countries to protect their people and economies against climate disasters and share in the vast benefits of the clean energy boom. The NCQG is a key element of the Paris Agreement, designed to set a new financial target to support developing countries in their climate actions post-2025. Now, let's look at the specific climate finance goals set by the NCQG. The Baku Finance Goals sets a new global target to channel $1.3 trillion of climate finance to developing countries by 2035. Additionally, under the goal of triple finance to developing countries, it sets a target for developed countries to mobilize at least $300 billion per year for developing countries by 2035. This is part of a continuation from a 2009 agreement under the UNFCCC, where parties decided to mobilize $100 billion annually by 2020, which was subsequently extended to 2025. However, India has rejected the NCQG for climate finance during the COP29 conference on the following grounds. Firstly, due to insufficient financial commitment. India criticized the proposed goal of mobilizing $300 billion annually by 2035 as too little and too distant. Secondly, India raised concerns over the lack of inclusivity in decision-making, arguing that the target does not reflect the priorities of the Global South. India's rejection of the NCQG has resonated with other developing countries including Nigeria and Malawi, who have also voiced similar concerns. In conclusion, while the NCQG aims to significantly boost global climate finance, the concerns raised by India and other developing nations highlight the need for more ambitious and inclusive climate finance commitments. In a major development, the United Nations General Assembly or UNGA has recently adopted a resolution paving the way for negotiations of a treaty on crimes against humanity. The Sixth Committee of the UN General Assembly approved United Nations Conference of Plenipotentiaries on Prevention and Punishment of Crimes Against Humanity. This committee of the UNGA is the primary forum for the consideration of legal questions in the General Assembly. Let us understand what is crimes against humanity. It is defined as specific criminal acts including murder, rape, torture, apartheid, deportation, and persecution when committed as part of a widespread or systematic attack directed against any civilian population according to a state or organizational society as outlined in the Rome Statute. But why is a treaty on crimes against humanity needed? The absence of a dedicated international treaty has been a major concern. Existing international humanitarian laws, like the laws of war such as Geneva Convention, do not adequately address potential crimes that can be committed in non-armed conflict situations. A dedicated treaty would provide a comprehensive framework for countries, offering new pathways for victims of crimes against humanity, and provide framework for countries to incorporate these crimes into their national legal systems. Furthermore, such a treaty would foster global cooperation, for example, through mutual legal assistance. Now, let's look at the existing mechanisms to prevent crimes against humanity. These include international humanitarian laws such as the 4 Geneva Conventions, 1949, the Biological Weapons Convention, 1972, the Chemical Weapons Convention, 1993, and the Rome Statute for the International Criminal Court, 1998. In India, Article 51 of the Constitution directs the state to promote international peace and security, fostering respect for international law and treaty obligations. In conclusion, the approval of this resolution by the UNGA marks a significant step towards holding perpetrators accountable and providing justice for victims of crimes against humanity. The treaty negotiations will be a crucial next step in strengthening the international legal framework to combat these heinous crimes. In a significant move to combat climate change, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, or UNIDO, and the Climate Club have launched a global matchmaking platform for industrial decarbonization at COP29. UNIDO, a specialized agency of the United Nations, has a mandate to promote, dynamize, and accelerate industrial development. The Climate Club, on the other hand, is an intergovernmental forum for exchange on accelerating climate action and industrial decarbonization. Now, let's take a closer look at the newly launched Global Matchmaking Platform, or GMP. The aim of GMP is to boost international climate cooperation and foster partnerships that will enable developing and emerging economies to leapfrog into climate-friendly industrial development. GMP is a support mechanism of Climate Club, with Secretariat hosted by UNIDO. So, how does it work? The platform connects country-specific needs with global technical and financial assistance to help reduce emissions in energy and emissions-intensive industrial sectors. It is designed to be accessible to all emerging and developing economies. Shifting focus to the concept of industrial decarbonization. This refers to the process of adopting energy-efficient and sustainable practices that significantly reduce the overall carbon footprint of industries. Key strategies for industrial decarbonization include the use of low-carbon technologies, decarbonizing end-use energy through renewable sources, and the implementation of carbon capture, utilization, and storage techniques. Why is this important? Decarbonizing the industrial sector is critical to achieving net zero emissions by 2050, as industrial activities are responsible for a quarter of global energy system carbon dioxide emissions. Let's take a look at some key global initiatives aimed at industrial decarbonization. In 2021, the Industrial Deep Decarbonization Initiative was co-led by the UK and India, forming a global coalition of public and private organizations to stimulate global demand for low-carbon industrial materials. Another notable initiative, the Alliance for Industry Decarbonization, is coordinated by the International Renewable Energy Agency and aims to decarbonize industrial value chains globally. In India, several initiatives are underway to promote decarbonization. The Perform, Achieve and Trade scheme, an energy efficiency credit trading initiative, is helping industries improve their energy efficiency. Additionally, the Ministry of Steel is working to decarbonize the steel sector by focusing on renewable energy, green hydrogen, and other sustainable methods. In conclusion, the launch of the GMP represents a major step towards fostering global partnerships for industrial decarbonization. These initiatives are crucial for ensuring a sustainable and climate-friendly industrial future.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees or UNHCR has launched a significant appeal, the Global Appeal 2025, seeking $10 billion to address critical needs and develop sustainable solutions for millions of refugees, displaced persons, and stateless individuals around the world. The appeal lays out the UNHCR's plan for 2025 and the essential funding required protecting, assisting, and empowering these vulnerable populations. The focus is just not on immediate relief, but also on finding long-term solutions to improve their situations. To provide some context, let's first explore the scope of the global refugee crisis. First of all, a refugee is someone who has been forced to flee conflict or persecution and has crossed an international border to seek safety. According to UNHCR's Global Trends Report 2023, there are currently 117.3 million forcibly displaced people worldwide, with children making up 40% of that number. The reasons behind this staggering figure include conflict and violence, as seen in countries like Syria, persecution in places like Myanmar, and the growing impacts of climate change. But the challenges are twofold. On one hand, refugees themselves face a dire lack of basic necessities such as food and shelter, as well as discrimination and exclusion from mainstream society. They are also at risk of exploitation and trafficking. On the other hand, host countries are grappling with the sudden increase in population, which strains local resources like healthcare, leading to rising unemployment and can cause social tensions. Several global initiatives have been set in motion to address these challenges. The Global Compact on Refugees, adopted in 2018, provides a comprehensive framework to support both refugees and host countries. Additionally, the Global Refugee Forum, held every 4 years, offers a platform to discuss and devise solutions for challenges faced by refugees and their host communities. Moreover, the United Nations Relief and Work Agency was established in 1949 to provide assistance and protection to Palestinian refugees. Now, a bit about the UNHCR itself. Headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, the UNHCR was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 1950. Its primary mission is to protect rights and build a better future for people forced to flee their homes because of conflict and persecution. The organization operates in 136 countries, making a global impact. Notably, it has received the Nobel Peace Prize twice in 1954 and again in 1981 for its humanitarian efforts. With the Global Appeal 2025, the UNHCR continues its commitment to ensuring a better and safer future for those forced to leave their homes. Let's turn our attention to a crucial report from the World Bank Group titled Choosing Our Future: Education for Climate Action. The report states that climate change-induced heat and extreme weather events are significantly disrupting learning and emphasizes that education system can empower, equip, and skill young people for climate mitigation and adaptation. Starting with the key findings, the report clearly outlines that climate change is taking a toll on schooling and learning, particularly in vulnerable areas. On average, countries are losing 11 days of instruction per year in schools affected by climate-related closures, with low-income countries feeling the greatest impact. Now, shifting our focus to the information gap on climate awareness, the report points out that climate change awareness is still at only about 65% in low and middle-income countries. As we look towards a greener future, the report emphasizes the need of skilling or reskilling or upskilling. With global green transitions on the horizon, there will be a need for skilled workers to fill around 100 million new jobs, while many current roles will require upskilling. Additionally, an estimated 78 million jobs will disappear, calling for reskilling efforts to keep pace with these changes. Education isn't just about the future, though. It can make a difference right now. The report shares a compelling example from India, where climate-related education for children not only boosted their own pro-climate behavior, but also influenced their parents' pro-climate behavior, increasing environmentally friendly actions by nearly 13%. In light of these findings, the report offers some recommendations for government. First, it suggests harnessing school education as a tool for encouraging pro-climate behavior by investing in foundational skills and STEM education, along with delivering effective climate-related content. Additionally, tertiary education should focus on green skills and fostering innovation through strong academic foundations, adaptable learning pathways, and clear information channels. Lastly, education systems themselves need to be protected by making them more adaptable and resilient in the face of changing climate. The message is clear. While climate change presents significant challenges, education holds the key to preparing our world for a more sustainable future.
In today's Personality in News, we turn our focus to Rajaraja Chola. The birth anniversary of the legendary Chola Emperor Rajaraja Chola was celebrated during Sadaya Vira in Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu. The Sadaya Vira festival is celebrated in the Tamil month of Aipasi from mid-October to mid-November. It takes place at the historic Brihadishwara temple, an iconic symbol of Chola architecture. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the life and legacy of Rajaraja Chola, who reigned from 985 CE to 1014 CE. During his rule, the Chola Empire reached its zenith under his leadership. Rajaraja, originally known as Arulmozhi Varman, assumed the title of Rajaraja I. His military campaigns were significant, with one of his notable victories being the defeat of the Chera ruler Bhaskara Ravivarman in the naval battle of Kandalur Salai. Furthermore, Rajaraja Chola expanded his empire by invading Sri Lanka and annexing its northern part, as well as leading a successful conquest to the Maldives. Rajaraja Chola is also credited with the completion of the magnificent Rajarajeshwara, also known as Brihadishwara temple, at Tanjore in 110 AD. This temple stands as a testament to his architectural vision and remains a symbol of the Chola dynasty's grandeur.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. 91st General Council meeting of National Cooperative Development Corporation held in Delhi. NCDC was established by an Act of Parliament in 1963 as a statutory corporation under Ministry of Cooperation. Its functions are planning, promoting and financing programs for production, marketing, storage, export and import, etc. of agricultural produce. International Cooperative Alliance Global Cooperative Conference is being organized in India for the first time in the 130-year-long history of ICA. Its theme, Cooperatives Build Prosperity for All, aligns with the Indian government's vision of Sahakar se Samriddhi, or prosperity through cooperation. Recently, 6th meeting of the ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement Joint Committee was held in New Delhi. ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement entered into force on January 1, 2010, signed in August 2009. It paved the way for the creation of one of the world's largest free trade areas in South and Southeast Asia. Recently, the Commerce Secretary visited Norway for implementation trade and economic partnership agreement between India and European Free Trade Association. EFTA, set up in 1960, is an intergovernmental organization of Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland to promote free trade and economic integration. Centre issues guidelines for concerning identification of post for persons with disabilities in line with Rights of Person with Disabilities Act 2016. Its aim is to ensure inclusivity, fairness and uniformity in employment of persons with disabilities. One of the key highlights includes identification of post to mandate a periodic review and identification of post suitable for individuals with at least 40% disability. Recently, researchers achieved a controlled transfer of atoms from one place to another via quantum tunneling between optical tweezers. Also known as laser traps, optical tweezers utilize focused laser beams to trap and manipulate microscopic objects such as cells. Lebanon's UNESCO cultural heritage sites, Baalbek, Tyre, and Anjar, are being endangered by recurrent assaults. If we talk about Baalbek, then with its colossal structures, it is one of the finest examples of Imperial Roman architecture at its apogee. Over 1.76 crore school students from all states, union territories participated in Project Veer Gatha 4.0. Organized since 2021, Project Veer Gatha is a joint initiative by the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of Education. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For solutions to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, please visit the provided links in the description below.